37th chapter, and Ramji had a question. Of course, we have discussed it, yet we have to repeat it again to see what was the question of Sri Ram. Vasistha ji explained everything to Rama on the desire and the enjoyment of desired objects. That is how the world is seen by names and forms. So when Vasistha ji explained everything, it is the desire to enjoy the world objects of senses which causes the world, and it is called world, nature, everything, and it is just like the he explained, of course we have seen it several times, the sky is blueness, and blueness and sky, they are not different from each other, or the holding capacity and holding objects are not different from the sky. Similarly, this world, which is not different from the absolute, which is one and the same. And we have seen, just as I am not different from my parts of the body, that is legs, hands, or other senses, they are not outside, they are not inside, they are inside as well as outside. As you see, it appears like that. Similarly, this world with names and forms, they appear to be different from the absolute substratum, that is absolute truth, which holds all these. And sometimes when we see it analytically with logic, then it appears it is not other than the absolute. It is just within it, just as the hands or legs are within the body, and yet it looks outside. Outside, when we have transaction with it, when we use it for some purpose, then it is seen outside of the body. But it is really, without that there is no body. So, body and limbs of the body, they are identical. They are not different from each other. They are within each other and they are without each other also. Both way, as you take it, so it appears. As you behave with it, as you use it in your daily life, as you see it, so it appears like that. So similarly, this world and the absolute truth are not different from each other, they are identical. Now, on this, we can conclude that will to enjoy this world is not also different from the absolute. It is identical. The will of the Lord is Lord itself. Just as we say, the order of the king is king itself. It is the क्या कहते हैं हमारे संविधान constitution of the country is not different from the country. It is not different from law and order and management and governance. It is not other than the government. So, similarly, the will of the Lord is not different from Him. That is what Ramji argues on hearing all those. The explanations of Guru Vasistha. Ramji is asking, yes, Guruji, the will of the Lord is not different from the Lord, and He is independent. So will also is independent by itself. It is not dependent. So on this, Vasistha of course said, why are you talking of the will? Why don't you go to the root cause of the will? We have nothing to do with the will or desires. We have nothing to do with it. We have to see, to root it out. So find out the cause. We have nothing to worry about will and the enjoyment by willpower or by enjoying the desired objects of the senses. We are not concerned about it. We are concerned how it occurs, why it is seen. If we can root it out, all our miseries, all our problems will be solved. So don't think of will or desire. Think of its eradication. How to root it out. But purpose of Rama was different. He was thinking, if God's will, the Ichha Shakti, desire, power of desire, will power, and the knowledge power, and the creative power, these three aspects of the Absolute, when they activate, they project out, they express, then the world is seen. World is nothing but expression of these three aspects of the divine will. So, if the will is independent, it is identical with the Lord, then it has to occur, it has to manifest. That means the world is truth. You have to accept it. It cannot be false. You cannot say the world is not there. On this basis only, on this purpose, he was bringing the argument. will is not different from the wheel holder, wheel maker, isn't it? So the world will be true. But further when we go on this argument, we go ahead with this argument. So if you say you agree and you believe my will is not different from me, okay, so let it be identical, don't see it differently. Understood? So let you see, let you hold it. You have to take it for granted. World is not there, it is God only. It cannot be different from Him. So it is God. Why to bring the other name? World. So in this case, world and God, they are synonymous terms. They have got the one meaning only, not different meanings. On that basis, the world cannot be subject to change. It has to be eternal. Of course, even if it changes, it is eternal. Because the changing phenomena is not there, which is held by ignorant persons. So, the ignorance is eternal. How it is eternal? Because knowledge is eternal, infinite. So its a shadow also will be like that. Its a shadow, its a absence also will be similar to the presence. Just as the day and night we see in this world pairs of opposites, both will be similar to each other. And opposite, of course, opposite to each other and similar. Your reflection in the mirror is not different from you. It is exactly identical with you. But yet it is not there. That has to be understood thoroughly. It is not there. And that's how the great people have said us, this outside world is nothing but your heart, your thought waves, your inside personality is expressed outside as a reflection. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagarim. It is just like a city seen in the mirror, which is seen inside in the dream. In your heart of hearts, it is inside and it is seen outside. And just as in the dream we see the mountains, sky, rivers, all the animals, birds, all these movements outside, isn't it? But really, when you get up, you know it was not outside. It was in the mind inside. And when mind rests in a particular nerve somewhere in the throat somewhere, then it cannot rest properly and it creates all these imaginary worlds which are based upon, of course, past and future impressions which are there in the subconscious mind. So the mind creates it within a very minute space, and It is seen as if it is outside. All the sky, mountain, and those rivers and forest and all these battlefield and battle going on, all these what you see in the dream, how do you feel? It is outside only. But when you get up, you know only that it was inside. It looked outside. Similarly, in your waking state also, whatever you see outside, it is the projection of your inside thoughts, nothing else. From other point of view also, we can see clearly. When you close your eyes, do you see any outside names and forms as the world? Where is your world when you are in deep sleep? Where does it go? Because you don't open your eyes, so it is not seen, isn't it? If you open the eyes, then it is visible. So what is meaning of it? I see the outside world by my eyes, isn't it? Whether it is there or not, don't discuss it. I see the outside world by my eyes, isn't it? And if eyesight is faulty, defective, how do you see the outside picture? How do you see? If you have jaundice, can you see these greeneries of outside world? Why? Why not? Because of your defective sight. You see the world according to your angle of vision. As your eyes are, so you see the outside world. And eyes are nothing but they are poor fellows, they are not independent to see anything or do anything. They are driven by the mind. And mind also is not independent, it cannot do anything. Intellect controls the mind. And intellect also, when you go on seeing further and further the cause of the effect, then we say absolutely all these willpower is nothing but it is taken place in the silent and equilibrium state of our heart, which is little vibrated or upset or disturbed. And that disturbance, those vibrations, when they come out of the body, we say, we see it outside. That disturbance or the imbalanced state of our heart projects out, it expresses out, and that is our vision by different senses, and that's how we see the world outside only. Now we have seen two sides. Ramji asked the question, if the world is the will of the Lord, then will of the Lord is not different from Lord. So it is independent, so it is there. You have to agree to it. So world does exist. You cannot say world is not there. And from other side, when you see, there is no will, and of course, if at all will is there, will be identical to the will holder. But will is some imaginary aspect which is not there, but accepted to be somehow. Just as the blueness of the sky is not at all there when we see analytically, but yet we accept it. Sky is blue. And many other things, many other examples we have discussed, which is not there, we accept it in our relative world. We accept, which is not there. In this way, Ramji, when asked the question to Vasistha, Vasistha replied, "My dear Ram, don't worry about the will, worry about the root cause of it, and our concern is to root it out." And Vasistha gives the method how to root it out. We should not go to discuss some subjects out of our out of our our yes, what we want to discuss. Our subject is the subject is the enjoyment of sense objects obtained by desire. The enjoyment. Enjoyment means both pleasure and pain, both, because world is only pairs of opposites. So if there will be joy, then there will be sorrow also. You have to enjoy both pain and pleasure together, one after the other. So our point is not to enjoy, not to think of the desire, not to think of the enjoyment of the desired objects. That is our subject. Why to go further? Unnecessary. So Vasistha says, just as the day dawns, slowly the darkness disappears by and by in a slow, continuous process. In the morning we see in a continuous, slow process, the darkness disappears and the light appears. That is called dawn. It is a continuous, very slow process. We cannot demarcate where, how much darkness has gone and how much light has entered, isn't it? Similarly, he says, when the knowledge dawns, ignorance vanishes. That is also opposite to each other and simultaneous, and it is together. It happens together. Just as when you climb a mountain, suppose you have climbed 100,000 feet, 1,000 feet, you have climbed. So, you have made a lowness beside you, 1,000 feet. If you slip down from there, you will fall in a 1,000 feet ditch. So height means by its side there is a lowness. Both go together. So when the knowledge is intensified, that means your doubts are clarified, desires are less, and your satisfaction you feel more and more. Your needs are less. You have less of desires. You feel completeness within yourself. Slowly, that is called the understanding, and slowly when understanding deepens, that ends in absolute constancy, means steadiness, that is called knowledge. And when knowledge dawns, all these side effects of our sadhana, our journey, that means the desires and the needs and the enjoyment of the sense objects, they slowly, by and by, as the knowledge dawns, intensifies and clarifies itself, so also the other side also gets weakened, the desires are lessened, and you feel more satisfaction in this way. He compares and gives the clarity, this is to be done. O Ram, जैसे जैसे ज्ञान का उदय होता है वैसे उसे द्वैत की शांति और वासना का विलय होता है. As you go ahead with dawn of knowledge, so your dualism gets weakened. How it happens? Dualism weakens, that means it gets less strengthened. I have no words to exactly express what it is. You see, when I shall show you an example from there, you can see our magic card. कहाँ गया रे? अरे यार, yes. You see, ABCD is a circle, and the O is the center, and when ABCD, all these points on the periphery, they come towards the center. How do you feel? How do you see? The distance between them get lessened, isn't it? And when they go away from the center, the distance gets more and more, increases, isn't it? So this is how you can understand when the knowledge is more. That means your journey is towards the center. Center means the heart, the subtler than the subtlemost, which holds the whole greater than the greatermost. Anoranyan Mahato Mayan. The center holds innumerable circles around it. Circle is, though it is so minute, it has so much capacity. So when we go centerward, that means we are going towards the knowledge. So we are nearer to each other. That means all the dualism or distances or differences, they get lesser and lesser. This is how dualism gets weakened. They get lesser and lesser. Other way, when we behave practically, we are doing some works, daily works, we use our all the senses and we feel tired. All the senses are engaged. Eyes, ears, and we get tired, so we breathe more and more, and our hands and legs. So all the senses are working, and we are aware of all these senses. That manyness of the body, we feel manyness of the body. One body divided into many limbs, and we are aware of all those many limbs in the body, one body. When we rest, how do you feel? Go to bed, and slowly you are going to sleep deeply. Slowly you forget all your many limbs. Slowly legs and hands. Of course, when the eyes are closed and you don't like to hear any sound, you close your door, try to sleep. So slowly you withdraw from sensual objects, outside objects, withdrawing. So they are getting weakened or lessened. That is how you have to understand. This is the process goes on when the knowledge dawns. Slowly we get unaware of, we forget all these transactions with all these innumerable names and forms, relations. Slowly we forget. And that is how dualism becomes lesser and lesser. You come to your own self, and not only the body, but inside the body, the heart of hearts, and that is the abode of the self. So all this dualism gets disappeared. This is what Vasistha ji explained to Rama. This is the method. मूल का उच्छेद होने से भी विद्वानों की इच्छा के उदय का संभव नहीं है. इसे अभिप्राय से कहते हैं, yesterday of course we have discussed a little, संपूर्ण दृश्य पदार्थ में वैराग्य आ जाने से जिस पुरुष को इच्छा नहीं उदित होती, उसको वह सांसारिक अविद्या शांत हो गई और निर्मल मुक्ति उदित हो गई, ऐसा समझो. कह रहे हैं Vasistha ji explains, O Ram, when the root cause of desires are completely destroyed, it cannot again it cannot it, it cannot germinate again, or it cannot again be produced, because root is not there. There are some plants, some trees, when we cut it from the trunk, the root is there, means again it gives sprouts. Again some branches we see, small uh, branches come out, just like our eucalyptus, and other plants are also there. When you cut it from half, it will again project out. It will again spread out. So, if you root out completely from the ground itself, it cannot sprout again. It cannot be project again out. It is completely destroyed forever. So in this way, when the desires are completely destroyed, it cannot be seen again. It cannot be produced again. That is what is seen in the people of wisdom, Jnani, the people of wisdom. They have no desires at all. And how do they destroy their desires? By dispassion. Dispassion is a very strong weapon, Brahmastra. It dispassion destroys all the desires. Dispassion means having no interest in sense objects. And how can you develop disinterest? How? When you find fault with the sense objects, then only you will have dispassion towards it. So how to find out the defects in the sense objects? The defect is nothing but it's a momentary status. No object of sense we can see which is seen continuously as it is, as it was in the beginning. Every moment it changes. So any object seen by our senses is subject to change. The whole world, the rule of the basic principle of the nature is changing. And that's how, while something is changed, that is we know as action or motion or action and reaction. In this way we can have relationship, we can have our transactions, give and take. If it is static, nothing can be done. If it is moving, then only the motion is there, the journey is possible, or the speed is there, that is action, and the same action turns into reaction, and same becomes the cause for the other and that becomes effect. Effect becomes again cause for another effect. In this way, everything goes on in cycle. This is the cycle of the world, changing phenomena of the nature. So, everything has to change. This is taken as a defect. Why? Because whatever we get, it is for a moment only. It has to change. Whatever we get by our desire, by contact of our senses with the object, it changes. So it is a momentary enjoyment. And when it changes, we have to feel sorry. If we get, we are joy, we feel pleasure. When it slips away, we feel pain. Oh, my object is gone, my will, desired object is lost now. I am nowhere. Again, I have to seek for another. When that is gone, again another. In this way, desires grow, they multiply, they never can get destroyed. So, if we understand the transitoriness of the or changing aspect of the desired objects which we want to enjoy, then only we can have dispassion. We will not like those objects, we will have dispassion towards the objects. Slowly, then the desires will diminish and our journey will be centerward. So all the desires, they go away from us. We are now slowly desireless, and that means you have no need. That means withdrawal of the sense. That means withdrawal of the mind also. The restlessness of the mind slowly gets silenced, and in the end you will rest in the absolute equilibrium state, that is constant dhruv, we say, and which is eternal. It will not be again disturbed. If it is completely withdrawn. So this is the way to control the desires and desired objects, having dispassion towards it and having lesser and lesser desires and more satisfaction and contentment and more steadiness of the mind. This is how Gita says, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. By practicing withdrawal of the mind from the sense objects, or by forcibly or tactfully centering the mind on the heart, slowly we get a state of equilibrium. That is called samattam. And that is called yoga also. It unites all your system which is known as personality or identity with senses, mind and fourfold mind and prana, they stop working and they get silenced. Param Shanti, absolute silence. That is called Samatvam. Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. That's why Gita says, and by yoga we can attain that. And yoga also says to not have contact of the senses with the sense objects. Withdrawal of the mind, of the senses from the sense objects. Kurmanga niva sarvasa, just like a tortoise. Withdrawal of the senses and thoughts and centering it on the heart. By this method we can get rid of the miseries of the world and will of the enjoyment of the desired objects. इस पुरुष को न तो इन हृदय पदार्थ में वैराग्य उत्पन्न होता है और न इसका राग ही उदित होता है, केवल अभाव से ही दृष्टा और दृश्य को शोभा इसे नहीं रुचती. Another aspect he explains. When this process goes on by the aspirant, slowly the mind gets dispassion towards the sense objects and lesser desires and more harmony and lesser restlessness. In this way, when the process goes on, what happens really? Your interest in all these transactions, daily actions, whatever you do in your daily life, slowly you get disinterest in your life's transactions. Because you have no desire, you have no interest in enjoyment. So what will be the condition? Slowly you will have no interest in the world, no liking for anything. That is the result of dispassion. And दृश्य पदार्थ में वैराग्य उत्पन्न होता है एंड इसको राग ही उदित होता है करके कहते हैं. इफ यू लाइक द ऑब्जेक्ट्स दैट इज अटैचमेंट, इफ यू डोंट लाइक द ऑब्जेक्ट्स दैट इज डिटैचमेंट. सो फॉर ए पर्सन हुज माइंड इज ऑलरेडी एट रेस्ट, it is stuck there forever. It cannot come out. It doesn't like to come out, resting forever and ever in the heart. It doesn't want to enjoy the sense objects. It doesn't come out of the cave. So, he has no interest whether there is liking or disliking. There is no meaning of liking or disliking for such a man. One who deals with the sense objects, then only he has got meaning of liking and disliking. One who is completely indifferent, where is the meaning of liking or disliking, having or not having? He is not at all aware of it, completely indifferent towards the world. World means the enjoyment of sense objects, and your mental contact or sense contact with the objects of the world. He is not at all concerned, he is now aware, he is not at all interested. So such will be the state of a jnani, a wise man who has rested in the absolute forever, who has got no desires, no interest in enjoyment of desired objects. So he has got no interest in a visible world, whether it is there or it is completely destroyed, whether the world war is going on or it is the earth is becoming slowly golden and golden. All the earthly objects, they are turning into gold, or turning into diamond, or it is fired up. Slowly it is melting away. It has got the wise has got no concern. It has got no meaning for the wise man. There is no world at all. Whether your earth is there, sun is there, or other planets, subplanets, your different creations, worlds, different क्या कहते हैं उसको, अरे क्या कहते हैं हमारे वैज्ञानिक भाषा में, गैलेक्सीज, और भी और कुछ कहते हैं, different galaxies, different creations, different stars, and और भी क्या क्या कहते हैं ना सब, universes, different universes. Whether they are there or not there, a man of wisdom never thinks of it. And if he thinks, then he sees everything at a glance. He sees everything at a glance because he becomes one with the everything. One with everything means becoming greater than the greatest and smaller than the smallest at a time, at a glance. He can see innumerable creations the moment he wants to know it. That means it is his mental play, mental game. If he wants to see, he will see everything. If he doesn't want to see, there is no world at all for him. And it is not only with the Absolute, it is with you also, with me also, with every being also. When you want to see the world, nobody can stop you. And when you don't want to see the world, who can force you? Who can force you to see the world in your deep sleep? Who can wake you up from deep sleep when you like to sleep? When you want to dream, who can wake you up from the dream? Enjoy your dream. You are independent. And when you are working in so-called waking state, who can force you to go to sleep? So you are independent to see all these or not to see. It is under your will. That is what we discussed previously also. Vasistha says, O Ram, Whether you see the world different from the God, different from the truth, it is your choice. If you want to see it differently, you can see it. And if you don't want to see it differently, you see it as one. It is your choice. You are independent. Do as you like. See, हमारा मैजिक कहीं चला गया. Are you not independent to see the coin, either side of it? Are you not independent? Whether you see the head side or tail side, can anybody force you? But yet you see both together as one coin, isn't it? It is your choice which side you want to see. And yet, if you see one side of the coin, you know it is coin. So you are independent to see either side of it. Similarly, you are independent to see this world different from the absolute and one with the absolute as you like. Nobody can force you, it is your choice. So everybody is independent to see this world. Only thing you have to understand what you are going to do, what you want to do. That must be clear to you. काकतालीय योग से यानी आकस्मिक घटना से या अन्य किसी की प्रेरणा से यदि कदाचित कुछ इच्छा करता भी है तो फिर वह देहमात्र धारण में साधनभूत शास्त्रों से अनिषिद्ध अन्न आदि की कुछ इच्छा करता है या नहीं भी करता है. This wise man is talking about the state of a wise man, how he behaves, how he feels, what is the condition of his mind, his being. He is totally unconcerned when he has got no desires of enjoyment, complete indifferent towards the names and forms of the world. He has no liking and no disliking. No disliking means neither he accepts nor he rejects anything. Whatever comes by the way, he is silently, he accepts it. This is how a person can live at present without thinking of past and future. Present is the life, that is what we have discussed previously elaborately. Present is life, past is dead and gone, future is uncertain. So, he is happy who can live at present, who never projects, never plans, never imagines for future, and who never worries about, never thinks about the past. Present is life. Such a person who has complete indifference towards the world, no contact with any object, totally indifferent, and no involvement. Such a person can live at present without being concerned about the past and future. And his statement will be neither acceptance nor rejection, nothing. He will be quite indifferent for the surroundings and the situations and the passing by objects which come near him, as a flow of the nature's way. Whatever comes by itself, it is accepted, not rejected. So desires are not there, so there is no future need, no past consequences, nothing. So a man of wisdom, he may wish for something that is apparent, that looks like he has some desire, but really speaking, he will not have any desires for any objects. He will be doing some actions by his senses, just like a sleepy or a drowsy man does something by instinct. His hands and legs will be doing something without his consent. Just as you drive out some mosquitoes or bring up your blanket when you feel cold at night, without your knowledge, without your awareness, the hands and legs, they do the needful because of continuous practice that is called instinct. Instinct. By automatically they do it. They do the needful. That is by the nature. Nature is nothing but continuous habit, continuous repetition. That is called nature. So this is how these wise people, they sometimes they appear as if they are doing something. Their liking and dislikings are seen. They will be liking, some sweets. It is said about Ramakrishna Paramahansa, who was a great saint, who had so much, you see, miraculous life. Whatever he did, everybody, till now, all the people know that Ramakrishna's name, for our Raman Maharshi, Swami Sivananda, all these great people, in their last period of their appearance in this world, some things are noted which are questionable. But you see, Ramakrishna ji was very much fond of jalebi, the sweet. And he had cancer in the body, and he liked to eat jalebis. So there was question, such a great saint, he had no control over the tongue. He liked to have sweets, but it is seen by devotees who are ignorant of his state of being. He was in such a height of knowledge, we cannot understand his mental situation. Unless you go to that height, you cannot understand how do they behave. Their senses, they are habituated since long, so they do everything instinctively. All these dead people, after God realization, after being established in knowledge, they used to do whatever they were doing from the childhood itself. The Brahmins or the Karmakandis, they will be doing worship, they will be doing Shodasaptara puja, or they will be doing yajna, sacrifices, everything they will be doing because of their old habit. The body is driven by the old habits. Not only the wise people work up according to habits, even the worldly people, we do everything by our habits only. Whatever we repeat again and again, that becomes our habit. Our life is outcome of our habits, whether it is good or bad. So, the continuous habit becomes instinct. And that's how the ignorant persons also do the actions, and the wise people also, they live in this world as long as their body is fated to live. Prarabdha, we say. And this is seen in the circus acrobats. They do such miraculous incidents so easily by practice only, by habit only. And animals also, they do so much what we cannot imagine even by practice. So practice becomes an instinct. And that's how the wise people also, they sometimes are seen to be working as a worldly man, but it is inwardly they are different. We cannot understand, we should not judge their outward activities. So you may ask now, if we don't see their actions, then how can we judge that he is realized or he is worldly man, he is wise man or ignorant man, he is worldly or he is a saint? How can we judge? How can we understand it if we don't consider his outward activities? This question you can put. He says, ऐसे परिस्थिति में इस आत्म तत्वदर्शी की वह इच्छा या अनिच्छा दोनों ब्रह्म स्वरूप ही हैं, इसमें तनिक भी संदेह नहीं है। अथवा बात यह है कि इस तत्वज्ञानी को अभिनव भोग चमत्कार विषय की इच्छा अवश्य नहीं उदित होती है, या पूर्व काल में अभ्यस्त हुए भोगों का अनुसरण करने के कारण उसकी स्थिति अनियत है। You see, just as a student in a school, say some student is reading in 5th standard, can he understand what is the mental state of a PhD in mathematics, the professor of mathematics? What knowledge, how he thinks, can the student understand? Can he calculate? Similarly, we, with our limited power of understanding, we cannot judge, we cannot discuss on the mental state of wise people, whether they are doing it instinctively or with interest or without interest. It is not possible to see outwardly. Unless you know their inner mental state, you cannot judge from outside activities. So, how to judge a wise man? Of course, we have seen Arjuna also asked the same question to Krishna. Sthita pragyasya ka bhasa, sthitadhi kim. How does a wise man talk, how he behaves, how he walks, how he sees around, and how he behaves? How can we know he is a man of wisdom or he is a worldly man? Then only we can behave with him properly. So Lord Krishna has given all the symptoms of a wise man, how to judge him. And in many other scriptures we get it. Unless you go to that standard, you cannot understand a wise man fully. But from some outward symptoms, we can have some ideas. What are the symptoms? Come on, Sahib. Bolo, Sahib. What are the indications of a, outward indications of a wise man? Come on. भद्र यदि किसी जीव की तत्व ज्ञान प्राप्त हो गया, जीव को तत्व ज्ञान प्राप्त हो गया, तो उसकी इच्छा तत्काल ही निवृत्त हो जाती है, क्योंकि प्रकाश और अंधकार के सदृश तत्व ज्ञान और इच्छा दोनों की स्थिति एक जगह हो ही नहीं सकती. Again he emphasizes upon the point, O Ram, when a man enters to that state of wisdom, when he obtains this self-realization, the moment he enjoys the bliss of the self, he forgets the world and enjoyments of the world. The same time, simultaneously, at a time when the sun rises, all the darkness, the night is disappeared. Nowhere you can find darkness. Similarly, when knowledge dawns, there cannot be any ignorance, there cannot be any desires or any desire for enjoyment of the sense objects or world. They are just opposite to each other, and when one is present, the other is absent. When the knowledge is there, ignorance is not to be seen. इसीलिए राग प्राप्त विधि निषेध शास्त्रों में यह इच्छा शून्य तत्वज्ञानी अधिकृत नहीं होता है. भद्र तत्वज्ञानी पुरुष कहीं पर भी विधि निषेध शास्त्रों का अधिकारी नहीं है, क्योंकि समस्त इच्छाओं से शून्य इस तत्वदर्शी की किस प्रयोजन की सिद्धि के लिए कौन क्या उपदेश दे सकता है? क्या कहीं अंध पुरुष देखने वाले को कूप में नहीं गिरना चाहिए, ऐसा उपदेश दे सकता है? Now Vasistha explains, O Ram, such a person who has attained that state of wisdom, who has realized the self, who is established on the self, for him there is no rules, there is no rules, no do's, no don'ts, nothing. There is no, they are beyond all these rules and regulations. They are beyond all these laws and orders, because no law, no scriptures, no scripture means religion, means how to bring harmony in the society. They talk about all these, that means rules and regulations to have a systematic and blissful life. That is called scriptures. So, they have some rules and regulations, some do's and don'ts. So he is giving the example. Can a blind man advise a eyed man not to fall in the well because it is a ditch? Don't go there and don't fall into the well, you will die. Can he advise a eyed man? Similarly, these scriptures, they are the expression, language expressed by the realized souls. So they cannot have any rules, or they cannot rule over these great people, man of wisdom. So they are beyond all these rules and regulations. So how to know whether they are beyond or they are under it? How to know? Our question is how to know such persons. बाह्य इच्छा की निवृत्ति और स्वात्मानंद अनुभव में तृप्ति, ये दोनों आत्मज्ञान की प्राप्ति के चिन्ह हैं. Now he is coming. When he has brought all these points, naturally he will speak of the symptoms, the signals outside. How can we know the wise man? बाह्य इच्छा की निवृत्ति और स्वात्मानंद अनुभव में तृप्ति, ये दोनों आत्मज्ञान की प्राप्ति की चिन्ह है. So he says the less of desires. One, you can judge a wise man, a saint, without desires. If he has no desires, then you can know he has achieved something. Desire, previously also we have discussed it. Less of desires means more of contentment, and more of contentment means more of bliss. So you are advancing in the journey to bliss, absolute bliss. That is the signal. So naturally you can have this measures. When you see a person have no desires, no liking for any objects outside the world, naturally it will be pointed out whether a person likes something or dislikes, isn't it? From his attitude we can know it. Whether he is interested in enjoying something or he is not at all interested. So this is seen by outward day-to-day transactions. So if he has got less desire, naturally he has got more contentment inside, no needs inside and outside, no needs. So this is the symptom. This is the outside signals of a wise man. This is how we can know the wise man. And he will be always blissful, means contented. A person who wants something, his face cut, his mind, his speech also, whatever he speaks, it will be judged, isn't it? We can know. He will speak of some objects to get something or to contact with something. So naturally we can know whether he has got more of desires or less of desires, and how much contented he is, how much uh, satisfied he is. That these are the symbols we can see outside. जब सारा प्रपंच निराश हो जाता है, तब वहीं पर भी, तब कहीं पर भी तत्वदर्शी स्वाद नहीं लेता, तब इच्छा भी बढ़ती नहीं और तथा सबकी मुक्ति भी रहती है. When there will be no desires at all, so he will see no world at all. Prapanch means this names and forms outside visible world. He will not see, he will not be concerned with it, he will not enjoy all these. प्रपंच सब निराश हो जाता है, तत्व कहीं तब कहीं पर भी तत्वदर्शी स्वाद नहीं लेता है. Never enjoys anything, he never shows his interest anywhere in anything. And वो कह रहे हैं तब इच्छा भी बढ़ती नहीं और तभी उसकी मुक्ति भी रहती है. When the desire never grows, so he is free from the attachment with the objects. He has no interest in having objects, so he is free from it. That freedom he enjoys. तत्व ज्ञान से एकता और अनेकता के झगड़े को छोड़कर जो पुरुष चुपचाप स्थित हो जाता है, उस पुरुष के इच्छा अनिच्छा आदि सभी भाव परम ब्रह्म स्वरूप ही हो जाते हैं. He says When one attains knowledge, that means he attains the absolute state of equilibrium, then he withdraws from the oneness and manyness. Neither he sees one outside nor many. He sees something. The absolute existence he sees. He will be looking at, if at all he will be looking at a tree, he will be seeing only something as a tree, neither one nor many. If you see one, then you have to see many within it. So he is not concerned with one nor many. He is without one and many. He just sees the existence, that's all. Neither one nor many.
तत्वदर्शी
हाँ जी,
तत्वदर्शी होता है,
यस,
वो देखते हुए भी नहीं देखता है, खाते हुए भी नहीं खाता है, सुनते हुए भी नहीं सुनता है,
हाँ
वो तत्वदर्शी बन जाता है,
हाँ
जिसमें आत्मज्ञान हो जाता है, उसकी कोई डिज़ायर नहीं रहती है,
जी,
उसकी कोई इच्छा नहीं रहती है।
हाँ
जैसे कि एक साधारण मनुष्य, जिस प्रकार एक साधारण मनुष्य जैसे गोलगप्पे देखता है तो उसका मन एकदम वाइब्रेट करता है, उसकी ओर भागता है। परंतु योगी में यह रहता है कि सामने पानी पिला कर रखा है, यानी गोलगप्पा रखा है, तो ठीक है, उसका मन एकदम सम वेव स्टेट लेवल में रहता है, और वो क्या कहता है फिर, उसको कोई डिज़ायर नहीं होती है,
नहीं डिजायर नहीं होता करके हम बाहर देखेंगे कैसे, समझेंगे, वही बात है ही नहीं। तो ये तो बहुत बार हम विचार कर लिए, so many times we have now discussed that he will not have desire. Whether the objects are there or not, he will not have interest. But how to know he has no interest? He is with it. The object is around him. The world is there. How to know he is interested in it or not? That is the question. So from his behavior we can understand whether he has, if he will like something, that is seen by his body language, isn't it? Say, if somebody is thirsty, naturally he will, even if he doesn't speak, he cannot speak, he doesn't know any language. So, if he is thirsty, from his body language we can understand he needs some water, isn't it? This is body language. Anybody can understand he needs some water. Sometimes we train our domestic animals and we teach them. We understand what do they need. How do you understand? Do they talk with you? We understand by their behavior. Yes, similarly, though they don't talk, they behave in such way, we know whether they want some food or water, or they want some rest, or they want to go outside. जो पालतू कुत्ता रखते हैं ना, वो उनको पता है कभी जाएगा शौच के लिए बाहर. That we know. Similarly, we can know from external symptoms that the wise man has got no desire, no interest in sense objects. तत्व ज्ञान से एकता और अनेकता के झगड़े को छोड़कर, when one realizes the self, he never falls into the war of the tug of war of one and many. The whole world is puzzled by one or many. Whether you see one or many, when you behave with one or many, the object which is seen as one, the moment you see more and more, or moment you see it analytically, it becomes many. The same one becomes many, and when you see the many again, it becomes one, 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 one. Huh? So this is how the whole world is confused. Everybody, this is called ignorance. Whether we are behaving with one or many, we have relation with one or many, we need one or many, we have desire one or many. Always this one and many has confused us. But a wise man is beyond one and many. He never sees whether it is one or many. He sees the existence only. Neither darkness nor light, but object. His sight is all round. He can see everything. So he is not concerned with light or darkness. Light means we have to understand, light means vision. He sees everything properly. And that's how he is beyond light and darkness. So also he is beyond all the pairs of opposites. He is neither one nor many. He is not concerned with one or many. He is beyond all these. That's how we have already discussed. He is beyond all these rules and regulations, and he is beyond all the scriptures which guides us in the world to lead our life properly or peacefully or successfully. He is beyond everything. Yavanarthe udapane sarvatah samplutodake tavana sarvesu vedesu brahmanasya vijanata. One who realizes the self, he goes beyond all these scriptures, rules and regulations, just as one doesn't need any water who is standing in the inside the water, where everywhere there is water and water flooded everywhere. He is standing in that all-pervading water, and he doesn't want a little handful of water because he is inside the water. So, he is the knowledge itself, so he is not dependent on the borrowed knowledge from the scriptures or by any other injunctions given by any authorities. He is beyond everything. So we have seen today about the desire to enjoy the objects, and which is a cause for all the world, root cause of world, and world means nothing but impermanent and changing and good and bad, and means pain and pleasure, pairs of opposites. So how to go beyond it? The way is to have dispassion towards the sense objects and find fault with the sense objects, to know, understand perfectly that worldly objects or sense objects are subject to change, they are momentary, so we cannot have interest for it. So naturally there will be dispassion towards the sense subjects. So naturally, by and by, you will get rid of the desires. And when the desires are rooted out, then mind becomes slowly steady and steady, and that is how the dawn of knowledge and eradication of your ignorance or desires or attachment for these sense objects, all these, both sides they will slowly increase and decrease. Just when the darkness depends or intensifies, naturally the light will be lesser. When the light is more and more, naturally the darkness gets clearer and clearer. Similarly, the knowledge and the desires of sense subjects and attachment to it and involvement with it and enjoyment of the sense subjects, slowly they will be lesser and lesser. And a man of wisdom will go beyond all these. Tomorrow we shall see further all many other symptoms which can be seen on a wise man. How we can judge he is a wise man or not? Some other points we shall see tomorrow. Hari Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasisate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadguru Bhagavan ki jai. Sachidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Sabda Brahma ki jai. Saraswati Maharani ki jai. Jo Vasiri Bhagavan ki jai.